at large. Shalom, shalom, family. Shabbat shalom, and welcome to Ashanda at Large live in Archdale, North Carolina, at the Leave America Behind conference with 7-Day Harvest Teaching Ministry. And this conference is so phenomenal. And of course, y'all know that it's featuring Brother Ron Dalton Jr. and Lorvins. I'm so excited to have y'all here live, right? We're always online.
Yes, we are. Now we're here in the flesh.
Yes. Well, we want to do a quick recap, and we're not going to take too long, but I want to thank you so much for just this extraordinary conference that you put on. We are at the close of day 2, and there was so much that came through. Was it not showing? Okay, it's not showing on mine. I don't know why. Okay, apologies. It's not showing on mine. It's not showing on the Ashanda at Large. It's showing on yours. It is? Okay, awesome. Well, welcome, Ashanda at Large family. Thank you so much for joining us at the Leave America Behind conference in Archdale, North Carolina at 7-Day Harvest Teaching Ministry. So excited to be here once again with Brother Ron Dalton Jr. and Brother Lorvins. Thank y'all so much for joining me for a quick recap.
You already know.
No problem.
All right, y'all. You know, when we go live, you never know what's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So this is our first time actually going live and having this interview in this way. And I'm just so excited because we're at day 2 of this conference. And I just want to take a moment, first off, to, tell you guys thank you so much for an amazing job that you've done. But I want to hear from both of you. What is the biggest highlight you could take away? We're going to start with day 1 for you, and then we can go to day 2 after I hear from both of you.
The highlight. I've been enjoying myself. The networking, the fellowship, seeing how people have come from different states, drive or fly, to see and hear the content today, and to obviously, of course, be in the presence of people that they follow on YouTube, me and Lorvins. The whole first day was memorable for me because, people, they, got a chance to see a lot of the things I'm bringing out. I mean, it's some stuff I talk about already on your lives, but yesterday I kind of brought out some more different things, some nuggets, shared some things like dreams and visions. Lorvins did as well. They kind of, people in the audience were like, there's something going on there. And, I'm just, looking forward to see how these dreams materialize in 2025, because Lorvins is going to Africa in January and with your pa, and, he's going to be talking to some people there. And hopefully when he comes back, he's going to have a lot of good news, a lot of good report. And it's only going to confirm a lot of the prophecy and assignments that people have put or laid on his life, what he's going to be doing in this Hebrew awakening and on the continent, and of course what they see me and him doing in the future. So I think that people, seen that and was happy. All right.
Yeah. I love that. And I love the part that you talked about with the fellowship. The fellowship was absolutely amazing. Just being able to hug on some necks and just have a plethora of great information. I'm going to share mine after I hear from Brother Lorvins. What was a highlight for you for day 1?
Oh, man, I think it's definitely the fellowship. You know what I'm saying? I've always said that people don't understand, like, it's one thing to be online and be behind keyboards and things of that nature. But I think people look forward to the idea of just being able to collaborate in the physical. It just has a different feel, and if you want to trust or gain more trust, then I believe that physical interaction is almost a must.
Absolutely.
If you are one who's concerned and not able to discern through the TV or whatever, this and that, I would definitely tell people, man, you gotta come in the physical to be able to meet those who you say you love, who you say you love to hear teachings from, who you want to fellowship and have a sense of community with. And I think it will start to increase the faith. But it's definitely the highlight of mine is just being able to deal with the people face to face.
That's so awesome. That is. And my son, he was saying that, he said, Mom, I didn't know you hung out with such cool people. And I said, yeah, I do. I'm pretty cool, right? No. But, honestly, there were two highlights for me. And the one was getting the opportunity to actually hear you worship. That was so amazing because, my family will tell you I'm all at home listening to worship music. I mean, my day is filled with it. Our homeschool day is filled with it. And the majority of the time I'm playing Hebrew music by Lorvins. So to be able to hear you actually minister, the anointing was there, it was so rich. And in terms of the conference, Ron, I told you this before, your testimony, that was what blew me away. And I had to grab my Kleenex for a minute. I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm about to tear up because especially watching the two of you talk about the journey that it took before Hebrews to Negroes became an international phenomenon. Just the reality of it, with both of us having large families, I could totally resonate. And I mean, it hit me like a ton of bricks, what you were saying about how you put so much work in trying to do the work of Yahuwah and so many roadblocks, and yet you came to the place where you were at the end of yourself. And then Lorvins, you came in because Yahuwah used one of your friends to tell him life was getting ready to change. That was amazing for me. So thank you so much for sharing that. Now let's talk about day 2 really quickly. We're going to do a quick recap. So I want to know, as far as day 2, what stood out to you? Because now we had already done the fellowshipping. We ate, we broke bread. What of the meat of day 2 stood out to you the most?
Yeah, I think that day 2, well, coming into day 2, I had some things that were weighing on my mind from things that had happened outside, and for those that were tuning into the live stream, the night before, in regards to my situation, I told my wife that somehow God's gonna make a way, but I don't know how He's gonna do it, and I'm trying not to worry because I have a conference, but this is not something that I anticipated happening with all the things that I got to go through to come here and to go back to Africa to continue the work that I'm doing out there, and to see how things started to connect with Bishop Bailey and how he, I kind of talked to him in passing and told him what I was going through. He asked me, "Are you okay?" I said, "Yeah, well, these things are going on right now, and I'm kind of worried about it." And one thing led to another, and he talked to me, and we talked to Pastor Douglas and then Lorvins, and just like in last year at the Tampa conference, we had kind of had the Hebrews rally behind the need that we needed from the leaders, and just like last year it was me and Lorvins, and we're starting to see now that people can rally, they can come together, they can show the aspects of community and family that we really need at this time to do mission work that is needed here and in America, I mean in Africa, and to know that we have people that were here and those that were tuning in. I'm sure people that were tuning in, they lent their support, but seeing this, it gives me the confirmation now that me and Lorvins, and even yourself, because you were there too, with the powerful prayer and the powerful words, just seeing the three of us, the people that were here and in the audience in YouTube land, they saw the need, they heard what we had to say, they wanted to support and help what was going on,
That was powerful.
And they came through. And so it means that in the future, when we have different things going on, and they see the three of us, doing a call to action or whatever it is in Africa or America, then they can know that they've been seeing us and we've been delivering. We've been talking about action, plans, solutions, putting in work, footwork, and these are the people that people need to really stand behind. And I was really happy today that they came through, because I didn't know what to do, and like the Bible says, you have not because you ask not.
Yes.
And Laura said it very well. We've gotten to a condition where we are scared to want to ask the Hebrew family community for help. But,
True.
But we need everybody's help.
Yes.
To do the things,
Yes.
And it's right there. It's at the tip of our fingers. It's at the ends of our lips. We just got to speak it. We have to have faith. We have to pray, and the people came through. The Most High Yah did His thing, and I'm happy. In addition to that, we also edified the people with a lot of important content that people need to hear. And going into day 3, I think that this is a good way to segue into the most powerful movie of this year and next year, in my opinion.
That is so awesome, Brother Lorvins. Just like on YouTube. Just like on YouTube. Always be on mute.
To segue, Miss Anthony, is your wife there? No? Okay. I know this is not part of it, but it's segue into. Can I use your mic? It's dead. I wanted to segue into what Anthony Douglas' wife said in regards to what you're actually saying about the rally cry when they came and ate us, because it's something that we're scared to do, and it's something that we're trying to get rid of in ourselves. Anthony Douglas's wife, and I know I'm putting you on the spot with this one. Can you come in for a second? And not just her, but I want in the yellow head wrap. Come here too. I'm about to show you something.
Come on, you coming online.
Now this is not planned. This is not planned.
It is not. All
right. Not. This is just because of what he said.
Anything can happen on live, y'all.
All right. What was it you told me in regards to dealing with the other nation and trying to I'm not even gonna say it because then it'll look like I told you.
Let me get my paper. Let me get my paper.
All right. She don't know what she wrote.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
What did you say?
A couple of days ago, I had got this little vision drop in my spirit, and I said it to my sister and my son that a Gentile, somebody from other nations, would confirm and endorse what you're bringing forth, and that was going to shake and shift Yashar to adhere. And unfortunately, that's what it's going to take for them to unify and trust in what the Father is doing with you. Mm-hmm. And that y'all were kind of like Jonathan and David, Moses and Aaron, in what the Father was going to do to have each of y'all cover and uphold one another.
Wow.
Yes, definitely. Y'all were being used to peel back some of the layers, the scabs, the strongholds that's in the minds of Yashar. And it's surgical, spiritual surgery in essence that's happening.
Wow.
But it's going to be them witnessing. Other nations going to confirm. It's not going to be no other way. The Most High is going to let other nations see this is really true. This is what it is. And when our people see that the other nations is going to be like a real wake up.
Oh, wow. Okay. That is powerful. Okay.
I'm going to come. Okay. So this is what he gave me while you were talking and while you were talking. He says, I will send you before his and you before his. Gifts have made room for you. He says,
to declare my word and my works. And he said, Lorvins is the violin because he's the music. And he says the message that he gives to the people will be like fire. The message you give will be like fire. And he said the Putin dream you had, Putin is a president, a man in a high place, and I will bring those high places to naught. The pity for that he felt in the dream for you, Ron, was the sorrow that he felt because Abba pricked his heart. He made him see his own fault. And he said that through the music and through the message, that all will know that he is Yahuwah and there is none like him.
Wow. Praise Yah. That's right. We give a hand clap on that one. That's powerful.
All will know, and the
All will
nations
know.
will come.
Yeah.
It's the gifts.
And that's really, from day one, what you had said before Ron even got there, right? You was talking about the Ima who had the prophecy, the message that the two of you will be working together and you will be the only ones left, right? And so you're still standing. And I love that because, it's like Joshua and Caleb, right? It's like David and what's his best friend? His best friend's name Jonathan. I love the fact that Yahuwah always confirms himself in two, right? And so I just want to tell you all just absolutely what you heard. Be encouraged. Continue to move forward. There were a couple of things that stood out to me on day 2. And I want to say first is my sister Yapa, because the worship that she brought forth today. Yes, we had the album release party yesterday, but to see her come up here and actually minister for herself was just incredible. It just blessed me so much. So shout out to Sister Yapa Q. And also with the meatiness. Now, my son, he was listening and he said, well, what does he mean by that? When you were bringing out the anthropological evidence, right? That really struck us because you were trying to communicate, at least from what I saw, that the land of Canaan had to be in sub-Saharan Africa, because when we looked at DNA evidence and when we looked at archaeology and anthropology, that there was no evidence of the Canaanites in the modern state of Israel. They were only in the land of Canaan. So it was further proof that backed up exactly what you were saying about that being the place of our true location, our true Jerusalem and promised land. So that stood out for me. And I just want to thank you for putting that information out there. What can we expect tomorrow?
Let's elaborate on that.
Okay, all right.
Because when the scripture talked about Abraham, what direction did he go?
South, right? Isn't that
so? Now that was revelation to me. And me and Ron talk about this stuff. He said Abraham went south, and where you see Egypt, and of course up is down, down is up,
right?
And how they. So if Abraham went south to the land of Canaan, he didn't go sideways.
Right.
So that is something that I'm definitely going to be digging in, because if he went south to the land of Canaan, and when he Yahuwah took us out of bondage in Egypt, and if we were to go to the land of Canaan, the promised land, they wouldn't be going sideways.
Right.
They'd be going south.
Wow. Can you let Ron speak to that for a minute? Because even with yesterday with the hemisphere, you were talking about the longitude and latitude, and was it longitude, latitude, and the zero? What was a little swirl thing there? The people didn't get a chance to see the video, but
So the Congo people had a name for Mobans of the Congo, and it was the center of the earth, or the navel. And you can prove scientifically that the equator runs through the Congo, Uganda, and Tanzania by simply having water drain through like a basin and have a hole at the bottom of it. And if you're on the southern hemisphere, like in South Africa territory, then like the guy used a flower petal, and it was spinning counterclockwise when the water was draining out. And then when you went to the other side of the equator on the northern hemisphere, then on the northern hemisphere in line with Uganda, then the pedal that he put in the drain turn and spin clockwise.
Clockwise. That was
And,
wild.
and when he was exactly in the middle, 0 degrees latitude, and he let the water come out of the basin, the flower petal stayed in one spot, and it drained and went straight down. So that proves that the magnetic, the polarity, whatever, that the equator is there. So if the equator is there and that's latitude, then longitude has to fall in line with the equatorial line. So in that essence, if you look at the true center of the world, it's going to have to follow somewhere on the equatorial line, whether it's here or there. So it cannot be Israel, because Israel's way up there, and by definition, it cannot be Ethiopia, because if you want to say Jerusalem is the center of the nation of the world, then Ethiopia would have to be in line with the equator to intersect with longitude and latitude to make 0, 0. But the Congo and Uganda and Tanzania has that, and that's right in line with the scriptures.
Wow. And it's just so much scientific evidence that's just coming to light. And I just, I think, like you said, this is like a collegiate course, right? So we had to put our thinking caps on for sure. But as you're breaking it down, it's becoming clearer and clearer for us to be able to see. So now tomorrow we're talking about seeing the movie premiere, right? Of Hebrews to Negroes 3?
Yeah.
Okay. Gog and Magog war, right?
Yeah, Gog and Magog.
Okay.
Versus
Let's talk about that.
This movie is going to be the most dangerous movie out. And the reason why I say that is because it's going to give us some insight into the nations that are going to come against the Israelites' land with the purpose of stealing, plundering, invading, and just covering the land like a cloud, like the Bible says in Ezekiel 38. And these nations, although they're not seen on the world maps, like Gomer's here and Togarmah is here and Magog is here and Meshach is here, they do have an identity today in the nations and countries that we see in the ethnic groups. And if these nations are going to come against the Israelites in the true land of Canaan, aka Israel, then this movie is going to show you who they are, and you're going to see and use your brain and say, well, they are covering the land of Africa like a cloud. They are slowly setting up their invasion and takeover or Trojan horse scenario in sub-Saharan Africa. So that means that the true Israelites are the Bantu people, and the true land of Canaan is in sub-Saharan Africa. And the nations that are I'm going to be identifying in this movie, many of these nations are Christian nations, and some of them are not Christian nations. But what's at stake is anybody that is a member and follower of the Abrahamic faith, they're going to know the cat is out the bag, and now there's evidence to prove who we are biblically, and what we're doing is actually lining up with the Bible, whether we know it or not, because we don't follow Christianity, but it's still showing you that you're fulfilling Bible prophecy. In the same token, you're identifying and acknowledging with reality and history and what's happening right now in present day time, that we are the true Israelites, and the true chosen land is in sub-Saharan Africa.
Powerful. Thank you so much, Ron, for that. Before we wrap things up, I want to get a chance to speak to Lorvins about what is getting ready to happen with you. And just a couple of weeks, you're getting ready to do something extraordinary. Ron was speaking to that as well, but you are going to Africa. Let's talk about that really quickly.
Yeah, I mean, I've always known I was going to go, and, these things, I've always been wary of people prophesying on me. You know what I mean? Because I'm from the Christian church, and when I was there, I was always spooked out by these things. I'm like, I don't want nobody putting their hands on me and doing all this stuff. Especially when you have a background where your parents are Haitian, you go to Haiti and all these weird stuff they do. So they say. And then I got into the awakening, and it's like all of a sudden people seeing what I'm doing, the gifts and whatnot. And then I've met elders all throughout the awakening, and they've all been saying the same exact thing. They don't know one another, especially with the email who said that me and Ron would be the only one standing within the crew. Um, so that came to pass so far, right? And that's what's being done. And then there's elder who's like, man, why are you afraid to use your authority that the Most High is giving you? You see what I'm saying? And he was right. And I went to the sabbatical, and the very thing that the Most High showed me was, I've given you an authority and you need to use it.
Yes, yes.
You know, because I know you're humble. I know you're not going to give anybody else my credit. You see what I'm saying? I know you're going to give me the credit for what it is that I've endowed you with.
Yes.
And I've given you a voice, but it's never been about your voice. Your voice is just a mechanism and a vehicle to take you to where I really need you to go.
Hallelujah.
And then I met a woman in a car, an old woman, and this is after imams and elders are saying, you are going to be in front of politicians. You're going to be in these type of meetings where the Most High is going to open up your mouth.
Yes.
And you're going to say what it need to say. But I say this to say this because of the timing.
Yes.
Because remember, the whole time I was like, my teeth was messed up.
Yeah.
And I've used that as a crutch in a sense to be humble, to keep me low.
Right. I remember you saying that.
But then someone came and told me, man, you're going to have to go and meet certain people, and eventually you're going to have to get it done.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so, but there was this man when I was at this assembly, and I was telling people, oh, y'all looking at me, and you're probably afraid to worship because you're probably looking at my teeth and this and that. There was a man who came and admitted to me that the Most High rebuked him immediately then, because he was distracted. He wanted to offer his gift and his finance to fix my teeth.
Wow.
While he was there. But he was like, man, and I just found that out maybe a month ago.
Oh, wow.
And he sat on this for like 2 years.
Oh, my goodness.
He said, I was immediately rebuked because that's what I was thinking. I was distracted. And so the timing is perfect that when he was going through his situation about it, dental and all that,
right.
A year before that, the same dentist that helped them had offered to do this for me at no cost as well.
Right. Wow.
You see what I'm saying? And I was like, nah, it took forever. And then eventually I did it.
Yes.
And it still took a year and something.
Yeah.
So it's just the timing. And then I've had issues trying to get passport, whatever, this and that.
Right.
And I finally got it this year. This year.
Okay.
So it's the timing and the progress. Everything is in the Most High's timing.
Yes.
And so now I'm going to Nigeria. I'm going to Ghana to do these, ironically, concert, the gift.
Yes.
So the old woman that I met, she's this international, amazing person who's connected to all these politician things and that. And guess what? She does a lot of things for diasporans that deals with internationally throughout all the countries in Africa.
Wow. That's amazing.
And all through a conversation she heard with me, and she said, you have something special. She said, what is it you do? And I was like, I do music, but what type of music? I said, spiritual. She said, I knew it.
Right.
And ever since then, and she's an older woman, she's called me a few times. Hey, can you move this dresser for me? And I've done it. And I feel like this woman is grooming me to take her position in a sense.
Oh,
you see
wow.
what I'm saying? But then she basically connected me with someone in Africa. She said, while you're there, she introduced me on the phone with him. And I'm going to go there to be able to talk. And he's talking about politicians. Take me to the facilities to give me a tour. And they really want to hear what I have to say in regards to what they think can help further the initiative that really for diasporans. Wow. And I think this is just in line with what Ron is doing.
Yes, absolutely.
That will actually help to make things better. We don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
But I have to go in faith, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And see what it is that the Most High has purpose, or he's gone before us. So we'll see what happens.
Absolutely. Ron, before you say what you're going to say, I was going to say what we all have in common are issues with our teeth. Y'all was in braces for 5.5 years. Don't get it twisted. So I just think it's awesome, right? That we all came together in that way. Go ahead, Ron.
Yeah, so I don't know if Lorvins knows this, but back when we had the Florida conference of Pastor Stephen Johnson's church in Tallahassee, Fort Lauderdale,
Okay.
Hollandale.
Mhm.
I already had known B'nai Israel. I already had known, well, I knew about him. I knew Rabbi Kwete Amai.
What year was this?
I don't, this is way back. Yeah, yeah.
I think I was there. I used to live there
Yeah,
at that
I
time.
knew Divine
That's crazy.
Prospect. I knew Michael Israel.
Wow.
Everybody was there. And I remember Michael Israel, he said, "You need to talk to that guy over there." I said, "Who?" And they said, "The guy over there by the audio stuff." And I'm like, "What does he do?" He's like, "He's a musician. You should hear his music." And I said, "What's his name?" He said, "Lorvins." Michael Israel said that. He said, "You need to talk to him and connect with him." And I said, "But why?" He said, "You just need to just link up with him. You and him can do something." And I said, "Okay." And this is the first time I met Lorvins. It was in Florida.
Wow.
First time. And Lorvins wasn't on the panel discussion. It was me, Benea, Divine Prospect, and Rabbi Kwete Amai and Pastor Stephen Johnson on the panel. Lorvins was there. I think you performed.
Right.
Yeah.
But I was just a regular dude.
Yeah.
Right.
Nobody. I didn't even know who Lorvins
Right.
was. I was like, "Who is Lorvins?" That Michael Israel said,
He was a
"Yeah, talk to
regular
this
dude.
guy. You need to talk to him." And I said, "Okay." And then from there, boom. Me and Lorvins have been cool ever since.
Oh my goodness. Look at that. Wow. That is so cool. Because I heard you were saying yesterday about South Florida, and I'm like, I forgot to ask you about the timeline, but man, that's so awesome because y'all were there, and I think I was literally in Hollywood around 2018. But that's when y'all met, so that's amazing. The Most High does things, this way where He brings us to our helpers, He brings us to our mentors and our friends, He brings us to our coaches and our counselors, and I'm just grateful that He has connected the two of you and for the extraordinary work that you're doing. And I want to thank again Mora Zumaya for allowing us to come here and just meet and fellowship and be able to just get so much of what we need in order for us to grow. So thank you so much also, Brother Ron, for just being so gracious and coming here with your family all the way from South Africa. That is awesome. And thank you, Brother Lorvins, once again for being
Absolutely.
here. Yes, this has been phenomenal. And thank y'all so much for listening to us live recap, all right, of Leave America Behind Conference in Archdale, North Carolina. My actual birth home, okay, 3 hours away, Jacksonville, North Carolina. Shout out to Jacksonville. Anyway, thank y'all so much for tuning in. We love you, and we look forward to spending time with y'all again. But as I always say, family, love yourselves while hating your enemies. That won't ever change. Thank you so much for being a part. Yah bless and salamai.
Shalom, shalom.
Quinton, this too crazy.
Yeah. Cause all my brothers kings and all my sisters queens. Pay attention. Cut out the middleman, gotta pick a side, can't be lukewarm. They ain't gon' sympathize or take bribes, they got nukes for 'em. I want a new body talking glorified in its true form. I get them baptized, devils pissed off, they done grew horns. I'm sipping alkaline, 10 and 5 second Corinthians mastermind. Demons I have to ban, now we're straight to get bumping the calamine. The cannon is photon, positive charge, I'm a proton. The trap's been together like Voltron. Close with the young, that's post on. It's a feast so the children have more fun. I'm powered up like I'm Gohan. Now I'm powered up like I'm Yasha. Snap like a gator Lacosta. For Zolas turn minions to pasta. On the corner we preaching the gospel. Matthew 18 we silence the gospel. A good fugitive father, no author. Fins and scales if it come out the water. Yeah.